Hello, everyone. Welcome to Snack Take. I'm Glazer of the Snap Judgments podcast, and today, well, I'm taking a victory lap again. Sorry, guys, if you hate these, skip ahead to the decks. The creator clash happened this past weekend with many of the biggest creators in the world. Our guy at Marvel Snap Zone Den went undefeated. King of Swiss ended up finishing in fourth place because it's so hard as someone who's competed in a lot of tournaments in the past to go undefeated throughout the whole thing. So King of Swiss is a really, really hard pedestal to win from. But the winners were, well, the winner was Lamby playing a bounce deck. And the second place deck was DMoney playing Patriot. So you'll see, here's the victory lap. You'll see right here, 6 days ago, I said, try the pros decks for infinite tickets in Marvel Snap. In it, I said play Lamby's Bounce, and I said play Moyen's Patriot. I'm gonna say the Patriot build that Moyen played did not actually end up as successful as DMoney's, but they were the first and second place players and decks in this tournament. I'm telling you, subscribe to this channel, like this video, ring that bell. We get you what is ahead of the curve in the Marvel Snap meta so consistently. We also called the Doom nerf about 3 weeks ago on a podcast with Educated Collins. If you want to stay ahead of the Marvel Snap curve, this is the place to be. Let's go. Let's first look at the deck that I was wrong, the second place deck. I didn't realize this was the best version, largely because Moyen was playing a different version, and my general opinion of Moyen is through the roof. I still maintain Moyen is one of the 2 to 5 best players in the game of Snap. He might be the very best, although I believe that crown right this minute has to go to our own Seto Kaiba. Okay, this is DMoney's Creator Clash second place deck. It's fairly obvious a lot of what it does. It's running Doom and the key cards here. It's running Doom instead of Ultron. There's 2 reasons for this. First is in a major tournament like this, you expect a lot of Killmonger, and getting blown out for those 8 cube Killmonger losses, or when your opponent can bluff those 8 cube Killmonger losses, is a huge problem. The other reason is Iron Lad with an accidental Ultron can lose you a key game, and in a best of 1 tournament, you can't always afford to do that. The key thing here beyond that is that this deck ditches Mystique. That's honestly part of why I was so wary about it. It's trying instead to use Onslaught in place of Mystique for a lot of games. In order to do that, you need to hit Mr. Sinister and Brood or Debris, and Iron Lad hitting something like Doom or Brood or Sinister is really, really beneficial. Otherwise, you have trouble going wide and tall enough with just your Patriot. This deck also does a wonderful job of taking advantage of Iron Man. Iron Man on top of anything buffed is an extraordinarily powerful card. And Super Skrull here is a really, really strong counter card. It can basically be Sarah in the games where your opponent has Sarah. In Mirrors, it copies a Patriot, giving you a huge advantage. And in a lot of games, with Iron Man being real meta right now, copying an Iron Man is extraordinarily powerful. This is also really strong if Iron Lad hits it, right? Iron Lad has numerous phenomenal hits. Iron Lad becomes a 412 if it hits Sinister, 418 if it hits Brood. It puts rocks everywhere. If it hits Debris, its Patriot is obviously one of the best hits, buffing largely your whole board. Blue Marvel buffing much of your board. Iron Man becoming a 412 that doubles everything else in the lane. Doom putting those 4 power Doom bots anywhere, and Onslaught making basically operating as a Mystique in your Patriot. All of these are absolutely stellar plays, super powerful. Finally, Invisible Woman in Conquest mode in tournaments gives you a lot of utility, because when you play a card behind her and snap, your opponent has to respect it in the tournament. Sometimes it's Patriot, sometimes it's just Debris, right? But when it is Debris and they have to do the math as if it's Patriot, the game becomes extremely challenging. They have to go above something that is very strong. In addition, at the end of the game, is that a Doom behind that Invisible Woman that's going to make a 28 power iron? Is that a Doom that's going to spread power all over the board, putting 5 power in 1 location, 6 more in 2 more, assuming Patriot is out? Or is that an Onslaught in behind that Invisible Woman, and we're going to double that Patriot buff or turn Iron Man and make that a 28 power lane, or it may be. There are so many options. You have to do a lot of math, but this deck is super strong and super powerful. I'll tell you exactly what card I really miss in this deck. It is Bast. I understand why Bast isn't here. You're already running a few fewer beneficiaries than you would like if you could run Bast, and Iron Lad and Doom in particular are very poor hits. But I really loved Bast in this version of no ability Patriot deck, and I miss when it was here. So since I miss Bast, this seems like a really good transition point to the first place deck, Lamby's winner, the Pounce deck. This is exactly the same deck I shared with you, one card different. It's running Spider-Ham instead of Shang-Chi. Basically with the argument that whatever the heck you wanted to Shang, you just ham instead, and if you can ham multiple times, you get so much more advantage. That's it. That's the deck, right? It's doing the early, ideally on turn 1, you Bast, making things like Kitty Pryde, Angela, Hitmonkey, Bishop, and Mysterio insanely good value, and Iron Man. It's also just a really solid hit on Iceman. You don't sleep on that +1, that +2 on Spider-Ham, so on. And if you can bounce it back and do it again, so much the better. Kitty is the key card. The real reason you're running America Chavez is so you can get Kitty along with either Angela or Bishop. Both of those do a phenomenal job of winning a lane. Mysterio becomes a 2/9 with Bast, but even as a 2/4 that's giving 3 power to Bishop and 6 power to Hitmonkey, that's extremely valuable. Iceman and Spider-Ham operate as disruption. Angela often ends up at 8, 10 power or more. Jeff gives you reach into lanes that you couldn't otherwise reach and has the added bonus. The real sweet thing about Jeff here, the added bonus, is your opponent has to do that extra 3 math all over the place, and once in a while you get waved or Sandman or something. And Iron Man and Chavez do a really solid job of winning those matchups. 6/9 is just big, assuming you've got an Angela and Bishop of reasonable size before then, and once you know your opponent has Sandman, you can even do the turn 4 Hitmonkey. Adding 10 power on turn 4 isn't bad. That Iron Man and Chavez will win a lot of games right after that, so don't hesitate to take advantage of those cards and win that matchup that's supposedly your worst matchup. It's actually not that. This right here might be the best deck in the game. I'm not 1,000% sold on no Shang-Chi. Shang might be better than either Iceman or Jeff, but hey, Lamby just won this huge tournament. Lamby, who we had on the Snap Judges podcast previously, is one of the nicest people in the game, and congrats to him on this amazing win. Again, one of the 2 to 5 best players in the game at worst. Couldn't deserve it more. Play this deck. Play this deck on ladder. Play this deck in Conquest. You will not be sorry. This and the last deck are both extraordinarily strong. Learn how to use them. Play them. Listen to us. And if you want gameplay videos for this deck in particular, over on Marvel Snap Zone, in my Sleeper Decks of the Week, I have one shared. So make sure you check that out as well. Thank you so much for watching. See you tomorrow, Monday, for another Snap Take.